In the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and so forth, may I accomplish Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and so forth, may I accomplish Buddhahood for the benefit of beings. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and so forth, may I accomplish Buddhahood for the benefit of beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be parted from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in great equanimity, free from bias, attachment, and hatred. The ground is purified with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Sumeru, the king of mountains, the four quarters of the universe, the sun and the moon. Thinking of it as the blessed Buddha field I offered. By virtue of this offering, may all beings here and now attain the happiness of that pure land. In accordance with the individual motivations and mental capacities of sentient beings, I request you to please turn the wheel of Dharma, the great, small, or common vehicle.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rinpoche. Thank you so much for agreeing to teach today on the Four Dharmas of Gampopa, which is such a crucial text and advice by this great master.
Today is just advice of Dharma practice.
Yes.
Oh, Hello, everybody. As we said the opening prayers, first please cultivate the altruistic mind to attain enlightenment, Buddhahood, for the sake of all sentient beings. So cultivation of this kind of thought is very crucial, important, because the mind is at the center of the whole system, the universe, individual. Even though we cannot see our mind through the eyes, or cannot hear through the ears, cannot touch, but you see, the mind is the absolute, should say, which makes the final decision, whether to be in the samsara or whether to be for enlightenment. So mind is the very, as I mentioned repeatedly, very complex, very profound. Actually, it's the mind, it's the, whether in the samsara or in the enlightenment. The nature of the mind itself is uncontrived, is free from elaboration. The mind is the nature of the mind itself is total peace, unfabricated. So because of this, everybody in the world, we desire for peace and happiness. There's no one in the world that desire for suffering. Everyone is now leaning towards the physically or mentally peace and happiness. That's the reality nature, whether Buddhist, non-Buddhist, educated, uneducated, rich or poor, human beings, non-human beings, as long as you have the mind, consciousness, and there is that such that we all desire to free from suffering, and we all desire for peace and happiness. So that's you see, the reality nature. Now there's called temporary obscurations that obscures the clarity of the mind. Just for example, the nature of the sun is light, it's not darkness. The sun always manifests light, luminosity. No. But when it is covered by the cloud, then you cannot see the sun. It doesn't mean sun is not there. It doesn't mean the light of the sun is gone somewhere else. Without cloud, the nature of the sun is always light, you know. But when there's a thick cloud, then you cannot see the light. It obscured. So likewise, our mind, the nature itself is peace, clear. But when it's obscured by the temporary obscurations, then we don't know what we're doing. So that's what we should understand. So Buddha is the one who totally revealed total nature of the mind. You know? Buddha is the one, all the obscurations, the subtle and the gross, absolutely dispelled, free from these obscurations. So that's why we follow Buddha. We follow Buddha because Buddha was famous. We follow Buddha because Buddha was rich. We're not doing that. We follow Buddha because of Buddha's compassion, Buddha's wisdom. And Buddha's teaching is not only for Buddhists. Buddha's teaching is for every sentient beings. Buddha's concern is not only for great person, great teacher. Buddha is concerned more who are the vulnerable of the suffering, those who are in the danger of the obscurations, suffering. Those great teachers, they are great teachers. So they are done. So Buddha don't worry about them. Buddha not concerned about them, But Buddha's concern is for us who are whole deluded and the victim of all the confusion, suffering, So that's why Buddha taught all those teachings. Those teachings taught for every sentient beings. So Buddha's teaching is universal. It's not a religion. What you believe, not believe. But Buddha's teaching is reality. The reality of the causality, because the whole world is functions within the framework of the causality. Everything that happens based on the cause and the conditions. So our responsibility is that the result, what we're experiencing, is due to the cause that we have created. So that cause, whatever cause, good or bad, we have the individual responsibilities. We cannot ignore that. We cannot deny that. Anybody who's experiencing that individual, it's happening because the cause and the condition we have created. See, just a cup of tea on your table. Look at that. You are drinking the tea, that you are experiencing the tea. The tea is manifested, is there, not out of cause and condition. The tea is there, is manifested, created out of many causes and conditions, you see. It's not a belief system, you see. It's the reality. It's the result of your action. Whatever tea, the cup of tea you want, through many ingredients put together, and you are drinking the cup of the tea, see. So we should understand that. If the tea is not good, we cannot blame somebody else. So I made this tea, but the tea is so bad, it's because of your problem. It's because you made that, If the tea is not good, I am the one who's to blame because I created the tea and I'm drinking the tea. See? So like this, all the situations we are facing in our life is because of our cause that we have created. We need such a discernment, such a clear wisdom, it is called decisive wisdom, to see that precisely. That's the very important in our life. So that's why, Buddha said, I teach you all that, how to free from the suffering, and you are the responsible. Means we have to study them. We have to practice them. See, study and practice. These two should go side by side. Very important that it's a universal, as I mentioned. It's not a Buddhist, anybody in the world. But we who follow the Buddha's step, we are so fortunate. Because whatever Buddha said, we can follow. We can follow what Buddha said. And we try to practice as much as we can. It's not because I'm a Buddhist. It's because I want peace and happiness. It's because I don't want suffering. That's the reality, you see. When you are hungry, you prepare lunch, or you go to a restaurant, you eat. It's not a belief, it's the requirement. It's the reality nature. Anybody who is hungry, we need to eat. If you say you are hungry, it's because you believe you are hungry. And if you look at that, keep that side, your hunger as a belief system, you will die without food. Because when we are hungry, we need to eat. It's a requirement. Likewise, when we are suffering, we have to practice Dharma. Practice Dharma means now suffering, we cannot do so much. But we have every opportunity to free from the cause of the suffering. We can start avoiding all the cause of suffering, we can accumulate the cause for the peace and happiness. And Buddha very clearly, precisely designed, made such a clear, this kind of clear picture. What are the cause of suffering? What are the cause of peace and happiness, you see? So that's first we should know this thing. And then we follow the path very joyfully. See? So here, today, now it's just short, very introduction to the Four Dharmas of Gampopa. The Four Dharmas of Gampopa is very profound. It's very inclusive. In that fourth line, this four line includes complete Buddha's teaching, both Sutra and Tantra system. One can study this for days, months, and years. It's such a profound, precious, and as well as we said, so direct. So with there are different writings in this, in some, I'm sure you have heard of give me the magnificent blessing so that my mind and the mind of all sentient beings follow the Dharma. All mind follows the Dharma. Sometimes Dharma becomes the Dharma. So this different way of writing, but the same meaning. Dharma becomes the Dharma, first of all. It's very important. What it means, you see, Dharma becomes the Dharma. Buddha taught all these Dharma teachings. Even we Buddhists, you see, we use sometimes Dharma, not for the Dharma. We misuse the Dharma. No? What is this? Some update could not be installed. So I'll try again. Okay. Can you hear?
Yeah, I think everything is fine from our side. Yeah.
Okay, because some signal is coming.
I hope your computer is also fine.
I hope so. It's healthy, So yeah, this is very important point. Nowadays in the world, even in the Buddhist country, we use Dharma for this life to become famous. We use Dharma to become rich. We make some offerings to the higher teachers, so to become famous, or request some special blessings so that I can become rich. We really, very few, we think for next life. See? So even though we go to the temple, say prayers, we bow down to Buddha's statue, but we do these things to have good health, to become famous, to become powerful, to become rich, And then we quarrel each other. We have jealous each other, Who's more rich, who's more poor, who's more famous. And there's a lot of confusions, you see. And then we receive some special empowerment to become rich, to have a good business. So this means Dharma is not becoming the Dharma. The mind is not following the Dharma. Make sense? We are just so many those who are doing this. The real Buddha's teaching, where the Buddha taught, is to free from suffering, not to create the cause of suffering. What we are doing is we are misusing the Dharma for the wrong purpose. So that's why I say, for the remedy for this, we have to contemplate on the impermanence. Impermanence is, you see, it's universal. Everything that constituted within the cause and conditions keep changing, you know. Like when I came in the United States in the 80s, I was very young, very energetic. I really get tired. Just I work hard. No. But now I'm getting older, old, and I get tired easily. No? So like this, passing through. Now look at, you see, when I'm getting old, when I get sick, when I die, there's no vaccine not to get too old. There's no vaccine not to get sick. Finally, there's no vaccine not to die. Okay? Everybody is facing this, but we don't remember. We should understand this. I know because nowadays this pandemic, COVID-19 and then new coming, everybody is so frustrated, depressed, because that particular is so kind of very vicious, clear. We complain that organization that is not doing enough to prevent this, but we don't complain. We are not making a vaccine not to die, you know. Now at the time of death, what helps? You look at that carefully. No matter how famous you are, does it help? Does it help to free from the suffering? You become so rich, does it help to free from the suffering? No. Now please don't misunderstand. Oh, Buddhists are so negative, so everything is impermanent, and then you don't do good things, not work hard for, you know. Of course, we have to do things what we need. No. We all have to eat. Without food, without wealth, there's no happiness. There's no joy in the life. That's why the idea of the practice of generosity, you see, comes from the causality. If one practices the generosity, it's the root cause to create wealth. Not, you know, I should say, not manipulating, no, not out of negative thoughts, but out of genuine thought. So when we do this, there is wealth, there is real joy, there is a peace, you see. So Buddha looking at the causality. As mentioned, Buddhism is not a religion. is described, teachings all about causality, you see. When we talk about impermanence, it's not a negative thing. It's the wisdom to wake up. So don't attach too much to this life. Because as today, we want peace and happiness. We want that same for tomorrow. As this year, we want peace and happiness. We want peace and happiness next year as well. So that's why there's a lot of preparations. Like the governments, they do meeting, discuss. So in the next 4 or 5 years, what we should do. Next 4 10 years, what we should do. Planning, But they may not have such a decisive wisdom. They are smart. They are smart. And they have the afflicted wisdom, not unafflicted wisdom. Because of that, they cannot plan so well. And they don't know complete causality. Because of that, they have to change all the time. When something's happening, they have to change. But Buddha's teaching, you see, totally obvious, clear. Buddha taught the teachings 2,000, about 600 years before, still so fresh. There's nothing to change. We just need to study them and apply ourselves and practice. That's why I said, you understand now, Dharma follows the Dharma, or mind follows the Dharma, or Dharma becomes the Dharma. You understand what that means, you see, not just only to this life. Now, what makes all the suffering? See, you understand that what makes this suffering is because of the delusion. The Nagarjuna once said, you see, Nagarjuna said, action produced from desire or attachment, aversion. The third is ignorance. They are non-virtuous, you see. Not only action, attachment, desire, they are one. Aversion, anger, hatred, and ignorance, they themselves are non-virtue, see. From that non-virtuous thoughts, then all the activities we performed, they're called non-virtue. See, they are the cause of suffering. See, look at this now. That's why we start with the altruistic thought, means mind with the absence of desire, absence of aversion, absence of the ignorance. It's clear. It's very, very important. That's what it's called Dharma practice is about. It's not that like a lecturer, some lecturers, they study Buddhist philosophy for years, and they're very expressive. This is what Buddhists believe. This is a Buddhist belief, everything is in emptiness. Buddhists believe everything is suffering, Buddhists believe reincarnation, it's all like Buddhist system. It's not just something like lecture that. What we Buddhists have to follow is the practical approach. So that's why when Buddha said that, as mentioned at that time, about 600 years ago, Buddha's taught, the Buddha's teaching, the taught. There are these three poisons are the cause of suffering at that time. Still now, in this 21st century, they are the cause of suffering. Now look at in the world, the news has become so obvious, clear everywhere. Those individuals who have such a selfish, the self-arrogance, which is based on the ignorance, how much suffering is there? How much suffering is there for themselves, and how much suffering is created for others. So these three poisons are the root cause of all this problem of the samsara. This world, this universe. In that, there's no any difference. So since Buddha taught at that time, now, just imagine how much culture is changed, how much belief system is changed, you see, how much way of life is changed. Incredible, you know. But you see this, the root cause of suffering, the three poison, what Buddha taught, the way it acts, way it functions, has never changed. You see? So our real responsibility, Dharma practitioners, we have to focus on that. It's not that how much you have counted the mantras. Sometimes there's a so powerful prayers, you said. So this prayer is so powerful. Maybe, but if it is not touched to our three poisons, the prayers becomes to produce more cause of suffering because the powerful poisons still within us. No? So it makes sense. So our Dharma practice, we have to focus to free from the suffering, to achieve Buddhahood. When we could do that, then it's calm. The mind follows the Dharma, or Dharma becomes the Dharma. The first one, you know. But then sometimes, you know, say, yeah, I understand this life is very impermanent, illusory nature, come and go like a beautiful flower. The flower is so fragrant, beautiful, fresh, but it doesn't last long. So I cannot attach too much to the flower. If I have so much attachment to that flower, when the flower fades, I have a lot of suffering. So my beautiful flower is now going out. I cannot use my flower, you know. So just before that fades, you prepare. The flower is there. We cannot deny it is beautiful. We cannot deny it is so fresh, fragrant. But it will go away. It will fade. It will die. So when it does, we let go. Not so much attached. Likewise, this life, maybe you have really beautiful house. Your house is decorated, all the good things, because you produce a lot of money to make that house. So I am so attached to this house. But, you know, how much you have attachment to the house, it's more suffering there. I'm not saying it's negative. You should enjoy the house, but not so much attached to. I'm like a guest. When you go to, you get a hotel, or you rent a house, very expensive house, you rent, or room, so you enjoy that. And how much you paid for the rent for 1 week, for 1 month, for 1 year, you have to enjoy that. After that, you have to go. No matter how much you attach to the house I rented for 1 week, they're so beautiful also, I like that. If you attach to that, then this will bring suffering because you miss that so much. So you have to let go of that. You have to go to the next. No choice. No. So we prepare for next life, not just only this life. So practice Dharma not only for this life, practice Dharma for next life. Purify mental, these 3 poisons: attachment, aversion, So like that. But then next life, so I want to reborn as a powerful human being, or maybe born in the God realm. I want to achieve that. So it's called lesser capacity person. Still in the samsara. Now, for this, we have to study the suffering of samsara. From the God realm to the hell realm, all a state of suffering. Now some people say Buddhists are so negative. They only talk about the suffering, Everything suffering, suffering, suffering. We don't want that. Of course, we Buddhists don't want as well, But we have no choice. Suffering is there, By denying that, by putting aside that, doesn't help us to free from suffering. So we have to be very practical about that. First, look at the suffering of the, of course, those who have no power, no wealth, no education, poor family, they are victim of the suffering. You see, they are suffering so obvious, clear. But there's a rich who live in the very expensive house. Those who are like millionaire, billionaire, says, are they really happy? Or their life is very peaceful? Very doubtful, you can see. Some billionaires, they suffer so much, I'm not saying it's a negative, but look at practical, just look at those. So, in the samsara, what is saying is Buddha's wisdom is complete, Buddha's wisdom is causality of samsara, causality of nirvana. Samsara go beyond nirvana. And rest in the world, they don't have wisdom how to free from samsara. Look at this all modern technologies. Now they're talking of the artificial intelligence, it's becoming a big deal, because the high tech. And before it used to be, they're called formless wall. It's called the Rupa Dhatu, Arupa Dhatu. Now they have no idea what that is about. But still, the form world, formless world, they are still within the samsara. For the time being, when one achieves the form world, supposed to be total peace. Formless world, totally peace. Physically, mentally, totally peace. But that is not ultimate. Still, when the time comes, when their cause is consumed, they have to come back to the desire world, and they have to go through the suffering. No? But those individuals who want to achieve form world, formless world, in the desire God realm, so supposedly there's so much joy, happiness there. If one achieve that, as I mentioned, if you want to achieve that, if you want to join that kind of reality, still not free from suffering. Say, today I'm so happy. I have a wonderful food to eat, good place to live. That doesn't mean I'll be happy tomorrow or next year. No. So what should I do? No. So that kind of person who is attachment to this kind of reality, nature, is called lesser capacity person. Now seeing the suffering of the samsara, now just wants to free from samsara. No. That's next is called the Dharma follows the path. See, Dharma follows the path. So Dharma becomes the path to free from samsara. But yet there are individuals who's not interested helping others. There's called Sharavakas, Partika Buddha. No? But it's not that easy to achieve that. We have a lot of preparation. First has to have such a renunciation. No attachment to the samsaric life. And through that, one achieves the shamatha, samadhi, karma abiding. That's the foundation. But as I mentioned, only shamatha will not help us to free from samsara. We need such a great wisdom. In Tibet, it's called Lakdong, Shine and Lakdong, you know. Lakdong, special insight, critical, incisive wisdom. When this shamatha and critical insight join together, it's called synchronized to karma abiding, shamatha, and the special insight gives the individual such a powerful tool to uproot the delusion. No? So our delusion basically is self-grasping. No, we call I, self. That's so powerful, you see, in the samsara. I don't want let my ego go. I want to preserve my ego, myself, because I'm so habituated. For life after life, I'm so patterned on that. I'm so get used to that. It's called inveterate propensity. No? It's a pernicious attachment. difficult to let go. I'm so used to it. I'm with that, But if you look carefully, where's my ego? Look at myself. Where? Intellectually, you will not find. Through the investigation. That's called thoroughly investigate. No, when you thoroughly investigate where I myself, what I'm attached to, with my body, with my mind, is on the head or at the heart, where you cannot find it anywhere. It's like a rabbit horn. Have you heard of rabbit horn? Okay, so it's called rabbit horn. It's called turtles. The turtle, turtles, hair. The turtle has no hair. Rabbit has no horn. Same thing. The I is not exist anywhere. But we have the notion I, and we are so attached to that. So what I'm saying is through the critical insight, combination of this shamatha and wushu special insight, you can totally uproot that. That's called imputed. The imputed habit attached to our self is totally uprooted. That is the path we take to free from samsara. So that kind of practical application cannot achieve through the saying powerful prayers, cannot achieve through saying powerful mantras, you see, no? But we have to achieve through the practical approach. That's why Buddha taught this. Still, it's true. It's not a culture. It's not a belief system. It is a practical application. It's universal. It's not a Buddhist belief. It's not a religion. It's the way how things constitute within the causes and condition. So one is making effort to free from samsara. This is the path you take. Then there's called yushu, entering the stream. Once returning, not returning, arhats, sharavaka, Partik Buddhas, arhats. But if one is only interested for oneself, not interested for other sentient beings, that is called the mediocre capacity person. This precious human life that we have now has the opportunity to achieve these lesser capacity person, mediocre capacity person, But we are not taking advantage of complete Dharma teachings. That's called, Then we next what is called dispel the confusion from the path. So there's the confusion because it's not complete. Now to do that, now we have to cultivate bodhicitta for all sentient beings. One who can do this is called the great capacity person. Now, this precious human life, that what we have, is not just used for yourself. not just use for this life's happiness, not just use for the happiness of the samsara, not just use for only individuals' liberation, but this should use to achieve complete Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. You see? So you see, understand now? So now, dispelling the confusion from the path, there are a lot of stages you have to go through. First, again, we as a Mahayana, this is called Mahayana practitioner. Mahayana practitioner, we have to constantly contemplate on the impermanence. See, even we say everything is impermanent, everything is changing, still we have a grief of grasping everything as real. No. When I see my cup on my table, I don't see my cup as illusory natural. I see my cup as a real cup, something independent. This is my cup, I'm grasping on that. If somebody touches that, say, don't touch on my cup, I argue that, you see, because still I'm grasping my cup. I have so much attachment to my cup. Especially your cup is expensive, I paid a lot my cup. Please don't touch my cup. So we Mahayana practitioners, still we have so much work on this to release these attachment and aversion, which are based on the ignorance. So this is how to dispel the confusion from the path. See, I go through this. Then, see, still I attach to samsaric. Next life, may I born in such a precious place. We are not thinking, may I achieve enlightenment, Buddhahood. I'm working to achieve, I'm not working to achieve enlightenment, Buddhahood, but I'm working to born in a special place, If I believe this, if I say this prayer, then I can be born in such a precious place. Then you feel, maybe I'm very happy about that. That's also confusion, I think. We Dharma practitioners, don't say some prayers or strong prayers to be born in some special place. Rather, we have to work on the suffering of the samsara, sentient beings. Develop loving kindness, compassion, you see. First, you see, love and compassion is not a Buddhist religion. It's not something spiritual. It's the innate nature of every sentient beings. More or less, everyone has that kind of love and compassion. Even for oneself, even one's own family, one's wife or husband, or one's children. Those individuals who have no any religion, but still they have love and compassion. Not only human beings, even animals. Look at you, see. A small insect, when she gives a birth of that family, she protects her offspring. Even sometimes even she sacrifices her life, out of love, out of compassion. This is not something spiritual thing. It's the universal. Because it is the a fundamental cause for peace and happiness, you see. Like a child, a baby who knows nothing, but the baby is so much inclined to her or his mother, because the mother loves that baby. You see, so it's that mother, she maybe doesn't believe in any religion. Even she doesn't know what is right or wrong, but there is that kind of what's called innate type of love. She cares her baby. So seeing from this, love and compassion is a requirement in the society, in the world. You see? Look at this, you see. So Buddha's teaching is from that reason he taught. So then he is giving a lot of different examples, how to love sentient beings. Look at your mother, who took care, who gave birth, who protect your life, who gave you education, who gave you all these possibilities. So look at your mother, develop love, compassion, and then from there you extend to all sentient beings, But in reality, look at, you see, in the world, we survive because of others. Like here, I am living in a small house. I'm eating food, my breakfast, lunch. It's because of others. First of all, the farmer produce those food in the different places. And then the agent, they brought those food in that particular place. And then the storekeeper, the market keeper, they work hard to organize, and they brought the food in the store. And then we go to the store, buy them, and get the food. And then I bring in my kitchen, and I prepare my breakfast. I prepare my lunch. So a plate of dish, look at that. It is the combination of many people that are involved. See? All those individuals, each and every, I have to count. And those individuals who are involved there, everyone desire for peace and happiness. No one has desire for suffering. So I have to think that. So this product, a food on the plate on my table, is the products of many, many people that are involved. And I'm enjoying that. So my life is sustained through these causes and conditions. Look at this, you see. Everyone works so hard. When it comes hot weather, you see how hot they are. When it comes to cold, how cold they are. They sacrifice the heat. They sacrifice the cold, and they work. And they made their living through this effort. And that I'm enjoying. So I have to think about that, you see. That's called Buddha's wisdom. Buddha knows these wisdom so precisely, you know. Look at this. So from there, I have to develop love. Because everyone desires for peace and happiness. Everyone sacrifices their suffering, their peace and happiness. Look at the world, you see. In general, just look at the sentient beings are so ignorant, so stupid, you see. Like in the wildlife, when you watch the wildlife, the tigers, the lions, they chase the other animals like deer, buffalo, all there, no? And they chase and catch and they kill and eat flesh. But that animal is again involves so many causes and conditions, you see. So both are suffering. The lions, the tigers, they are creating the cause of suffering. The predators, they are creating the cause of suffering. Others are actual suffering. Like this in the world, just we have to see now this, that's what's called causality. This is very important. That's why as a Buddhist teachings called everything is interdependent. In Sanskrit it's called Patita Samudapata. Nothing stands independently. So while I'm enjoying my breakfast, my lunch, I remember these, I aware these things, and develop love and compassion. At least I say some dedication prayers. So my life that I'm sustaining is because of others' love and compassion. Now my development, love and compassion to others is a cause for peace and happiness. Look at this, you see. This is just one example. Then in the society, look at, you see, a country, the leader of that country, he or she is to become the leader of the country. That means all the people in that country, because of those people, that individual becomes the leader. No? So the leader should think, I become the leader because of the people of this my country. So we are interdependent. Without these people in the country, how I can become a leader? Just think, just go to the desolate place. There's nobody. Just say, I'm the leader. No? You say, who's leader? There's nothing to be leader, nothing to lead. You cannot lead the rocks, trees. No. So leader has the responsibility to look at all the people in the country, because all the individuals in this country, rich or poor, equally important. And I'm the leader of the country. See? So the leader has such great opportunity to develop the responsibility. The responsibility is based on love and compassion. So this is not a spiritual thing. It's the requirement. So when one who has that, there's real peace. When the leader has love and compassion, take the responsibilities, all the people in the country will respect the leader. Say, our leader is the best person. He or she works so hard for the people in the country. So the people has also responsibility to respect the leader. When the people respect, do all the good things that need to be done, their country is in much better shape. But if the leader takes the advantage of the people, misuse the people, then there's a suffering, you see. And also the people, without taking responsibility, always just complain. Then that also, you see, cause of suffering. So that's called interdependent, interconnected, you see. So Buddha taught these teachings, you see, how everything is interdependent. Now you can see nowadays you see all this high-tech communication, transportations. Every year now there's something coming new because of it's interdependent. So we should have such a good mind. What are the cause of peace and happiness? What are the cause of suffering? So that causality is called infallible. It's not a Buddhist belief. It's how it functions. Poison is a poison. It's not a Buddhist belief. Medicine is a medicine. Nectar is a nectar. We have to understand what is the nectar, ambrosia, and what is the poison. What's the cause of the ambrosia and what's the cause of the poison? We need to understand that. And we have to take care of that cause. Well, I want ambrosia, nectar, but if I create cause for poison, I have to face the consequences. So that's what's called interdependent, interconnected. Right, my right hand is right hand. Always will be right hand. My left hand will be always left hand. My left hand cannot become right hand. My right hand cannot become left hand. You see. But without the right, there's no left. Without the left, there's no right. It's interdependent. Samsara is a samsara. Through these three poisons, as I've been talking about, through these poisons, through these three poisons, we cannot make samsara nirvana. See, samsara is not outside, it not exist outside. Samsara is the product of the three poisons. So while I have these three poisons within me, I cannot expect nirvana. No. So it's the samsara. So it depends on the degree of these three poisons. The samsara becomes that degree of the suffering. It's interdependent, interconnected. See? So that's why Buddha first, develop love, compassion. First look at as I mentioned, whole my life, that I have is I sustain because of the others. So through this understanding, I can develop love, loving kindness to all other sentient beings. That's in the prayer you say, may all sentient beings have happiness and causes of happiness. You see, this is very important. First, these are more important, more profound than emptiness itself. So what is happiness? What is the cause of happiness? You see, what you are saying, may all sentient beings have happiness. What that mean? And then its causes, you see. What's the cause of happiness? We have to study them carefully. Look at, you see. So that's we exercise in the mind, in our heart. Then, after that, you say, if everybody is happy, if everybody is creating the cause of happiness, say no. Even though they want peace and happiness, they are suffering. So that's what it's come next. May every sentient beings free from suffering and the causes of suffering. You see, look at that. What means suffering? Physical suffering, mental suffering. They want peace and happiness, but they keep creating the cause of suffering. As I mentioned, I'm grasping myself. That something, the self is something exists. Something exists independently. And all my actions are surrounded with this self-grasping. While protecting myself, I try to do something good, but cannot, because the self is there. I cannot sacrifice myself. And I'm just suffering. I'm not getting what I want. I'm getting what I don't want. Even I use my power, even I use my wealth, the suffering is there. No? So therefore say, may all sentient beings free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Then what are the cause of suffering? Then look at that. As I mentioned there, the three poisons are direct cause of suffering. And all the actions, physical, verbal actions are involved the cause of suffering. You see, it's very clear. It is not a religious belief. It's the reality nature of the samsara. Even in the animal, look at, there are some animals who has less grasping for self. Sharing others, there's more peace. The animals who are very aggressive, dominates, then has so much sufferings there. Everybody's angry about that, towards that direction. Look at these things, you see. It's universal. In our community, look at the small community who has a genuine kind of love and compassion, who supports others. Everybody respect to that individual. We admire to that person. Oh, you are so good. You are so kind. Because it's a source of peace, you see. Those aggressive, no, possessive people run away because there's no peace, there's no harmony. Look at this, you see. This is nothing to the religion. This is universal, you know. So Buddha's teaching was based on these things. So we need in the world these kind of activities. Start from your small group. Share that. First, you practice yourself, and then share to others. No, as earlier mentioned, I mentioned, no. Sometimes we receive empowerments to self-grandize, misuse Dharma teachings. That brings the suffering. Nobody appreciates that person. But if you practice Dharma this way, you are the service for that small community. You are the service for larger. So we have to maintain the Dharma teachings for this purpose. We have to maintain the Dharma teaching because it's not because we're Buddhist, but we have to maintain the Dharma teachings. It's a requirement in the world. The world needs this wisdom. The world needs this kind of responsibility. Then you are practicing loving kindness, compassion, you see. So that's how practice the loving compassion. Even though like in the Buddhists, all Buddhists that practice Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana, we say Metta, Karuna, you know. But then everyone is, just look at it, if everyone is happy, no. If everyone is free from suffering, no. Not what we should do. What's the absolute solution to achieve the total peace and happiness? What is the total solution to free from suffering? Now comes this very important question. Look at this, you see. Then there comes the Buddhahood, the enlightenment. Our mind is not easy. You know yourself. I want to do good. But this, as mentioned, the inveterate propensity continues. Difficult to change the habit because we are so used to that. It's like a rubber band. When you stretch the rubber band, it goes far. If you release, go back to the way it is. So sometimes you emotionally, I have to practice love and compassion. You feel that. Sometimes tears comes in your eyes. I need to practice loving kindness, compassion. Everyone needs this peace, loving kindness, compassion, peace, happiness. I want to practice compassion to free from suffering. But then again, go back to your old habits. Difficult to change, you see. It's because we're so habituated. The habit is deeply rooted within us. Their nature is empty, at the same time, is so deeply rooted. That's why we need reminding again and again, repeatedly in our daily life. That's called practice. Not just sit there, chant some mantras, you know. That's, the sessions are the special method to reminding, but our practice need in 24 hours. It's not easy. So from there, we cultivate bodhicitta. Now say, I myself want to help all sentient beings. I want all sentient beings free from suffering, but I have no ability. I have no strength. My mind is under the control of these three poisons. So I have to achieve Buddhahood. I have to attain the Buddhahood. So cultivate bodhicitta. The next very important section. So that's why I say, no, to cultivate bodhicitta, need the support of the loving kindness and compassion, without which bodhicitta is not possible to cultivate. No? So look these things. So these are very important. First, look at the causality. As I mentioned, the powerful prayers, the powerful mantras, they cannot help us to get rid of our three poisons. No? So three poisons can only handle, purify loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. See, when you have love to all the sentient beings, then your attachment to individual will be purified. Because you love all are equally, rich or poor, beautiful or ugly. Anybody, because they all want peace and happiness. So your attachment, will be purified by this practice. Then when you have compassion to all sentient beings, your anger will be taken care of, or purified, minimized step by step. Because those individuals who hate you, who hate the society, they also want peace and happiness, but they are suffering so much because of their three poisons, their delusion. So you develop compassion to all. May they free from suffering. Yes, may they free from the cause of suffering. Look at these, and you practice this. So this is the best remedy to heal our mind. Our mind is so wounded in the samsara. Our mind is wounded through many causes and conditions. We're so fragile. Very easy to come to lose our mind. So we need to heal the mind this way. So that's your mind, you see. That's how you create samsara through the poison is your mind. Now through this, through the practice of love and compassion, you heal the mind, it's your mind. That's the best way to get the heal. Otherwise, sometimes we go to some great teacher, and gives you some special empowerment to heal. That kind of healing is very, if it is possible, it's very temporary. No. Most cases difficult. But this way, if you practice yourself, love and compassion, this way, definitely your mind will be healed. So that's why Buddha said, I teach you, you practice. That's what it means, you see. Buddha gave all those instructions thoroughly. And now we have the responsibility to take that in our heart. And then we can become the Buddha. Because we have the seed of the enlightenment, as I earlier mentioned. No? Like a diamond, the raw diamond, those was called, who knows this, recognize this is a raw diamond. The raw diamond we cannot use as an ornament because it's raw, it's ore. No? So that individual who recognized the raw diamond, then it polished all the details, step by step, polished it. And then it becomes the diamond. The diamond is coming from nowhere, from outside, but it's polished. And then it's called, this is diamond, because it's polished. So the diamond of the Buddha nature is within us. So Buddha taught how to polish this through this method. So we need individual responsibility how to polish this. If we don't take the responsibility, we cannot never polish our Buddha nature. So we joyfully take the path. So I have the diamond in my heart, the Buddha nature. And these teachings I have special factor to purify all the obscurations. So I'm so fortunate. So I follow the path. Okay. You want to stop a little bit for a few minutes?
Yes, why not 10 minutes break?
Okay, take a 10 minutes, take a deep breath. And refresh yourself.
Thank you so much.
Banza Sato Samaya, Pano Palaya, Banza Sato Tenopa, Titanto member one, Suto Kayo member one, Subo Kayo, Anorato member one, Sorosite Meprayata, Sorokarma, Sudame, Sedana, Shreya, Kuru Hung, Ha Bagawana, Soro Tata Kata, Bazarma Memos and Bazemba, Masamaya Sato. Okay, please take a short break.
That's so.